Hi guys, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about books, and more specifically we're going to be talking about my journey reading all of the published works of John Steinbeck, my tried and true, my beloved author. And as funny as it is saying that, here we're just going to jump right into it. Saying that, it's kind of funny that I have never read this book before, but today we're going to be talking about The Grapes of Wrath. I have some tea here. This might be a long video, I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling, so grab something to drink, chill out with me. We're going to talk about a classic. We're going to talk about The Grapes of Wrath. If you're here because you are required to read this in high school, I don't suggest using any of this video because it's not going to be informative at all for you. I'm sorry about that, because it's really just going to be my thoughts and feelings about this book. It's going to have a little bit about the background of the book. I'm going to discuss that a little bit, but you're not going to get the same information out of me as you would Spark Notes. So just like Spark Notes that shit and move on. All right. So here's the background, guys. This was written in 1939. It is about the Great Depression, and specifically about a family who travels from Oklahoma to California, the Salius Valley, I think is how you pronounce it, after the Dust Bowl, or during the Dust Bowl. This is John Steinbeck's second novel. So he does a lot of short stories. He has a lot of smaller novella sort of books, but this is almost 500 pages. This is right next to East of Eden as far as length goes. And this is also one of his more popular books, right next to East of Eden. This is what he is known for. So this hit close to home for John Steinbeck. His family owned a farm in the Salius Valley in California. He draws a lot of his own writing styles from what he learned on that farm. So this is definitely a book that hits home to John Steinbeck. I feel like you can really feel that in the writing. This is also a book that when it was published was burned and banned. Citizens actually burned this book in protest of his betrayal of California farmers, which is fairly interesting because he himself was a California farmer. It was also interesting in retrospectively after reading the book to know that stuff like that, because it wasn't untrue. I don't think it was really untrue. Any depiction of the Great Depression is fairly similar to John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. If you want something a little bit less classic, more contemporary literature, I would recommend The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. If you're into like the Great Depression sort of era, personally. Here's another note. Personally, yes, I love John Steinbeck. We've already come to that establishment. East of Eden is my soul book. I love it so much. But the thing is, I have never read The Grapes of Wrath, and I'm going to tell you why. The Great Depression. So if you are someone who has ever had to take care of somebody or are responsible for other human lives, tell me it's the same for you, but the Great Depression gives me so much anxiety. I literally want to take out all of our savings and put it in a coffee can and put it underneath our floorboards. I want to hoard flour and buy chickens and get a milk cow, because the idea of relying on other people for food and other necessities is just really mind-boggling to me. After I read something like The Great Depression, I spiral so hard. So I have not read this book yet. I'm gonna put this down, but yeah, this is Grapes of Wrath. Okay. So that's that. Speaking of which, okay, so if you're in high school and you're required to read this, I talked to a lot of people when they realized that I was reading The Grapes of Wrath. A lot of my buddy readers, a lot of just my bookish friends kind of like contacted me and were like, I hated that book. And I find it really funny because I personally really enjoyed the book. Spoiler alert, I really enjoyed the book. However, I think it is because, and tell me if you agree with this phenomenon, that it was because it was required reading in high school for a lot of people. I would love to make required reading illegal in public high schools. I would absolutely love that. I would wish that we could find a more creative way of teaching people how to read and how to interpret texts other than required reading, because it just ruins the entire experience. It really does. I would beseech you as a reader, have you read this in high school and you absolutely hated it, to reread it as an adult, because it is so much more impactful. And I also just think that required reading just sucks the life out of everybody. Personally, Lord of the Flies, hate it. Absolutely hate it. I will never reread that book again. No, it's required reading. Shakespeare? No thank you. I hate Shakespeare. I think I own Romeo and Juliet, which is my husband's copy, and Hamlet. And that's it. I don't even think, yeah, right here, Hamlet. Cannot do it, will not do it. I think the only thing I really enjoyed reading was Beowulf, And I think that is definitely something that you have to do like in a group setting. Anyways, that's beside the point. Required reading. Tell me if you agree that in the comments. We should find a different way to do that. Along the same lines, once again, along the same lines of required reading, a lot of the people I talked to, once again, A, hated this book, and B, did not get the turtle metaphor, which is kind of funny that everyone I talked to discussed not liking the turtle metaphor. It's literally maybe chapter 4 in this book, and I want to let you guys know, I didn't get the turtle metaphor either. I didn't get it at all. I did not understand it even a little bit. I kind of just like moved on, which was kind of funny. No, yeah, I didn't get it either. So, can I be a part of your group? Can I be your friend? I didn't get the turtle metaphor. Okay, next. I'll just talk about Steinbeck. Alright, this is what Steinbeck does best. So this is, once again, just like a very ordinary journey of a family from Oklahoma to California. I guess like as ordinary as you can be when you've been kicked off your land and have to immigrate literally across the country. But it's just about their life and about their experience, and you would think that would be very boring. I think I thought that it was going to be very boring, but John Steinbeck has the way of writing a story that will literally just make you question all of humanity. It will make you question how you live. It'll make you question how you interact with other people. It's just, he does it so beautifully and so subtly that you don't even realize what's going on. By the end of the book, I would say like about halfway through the book, I'm like, where are we going with this? You know, I still wanted to read the book. It's beautiful writing. I still cared about all the characters, but I was like, where are we going with this? Like, where's the plot? John Steinbeck doesn't need a plot. He doesn't need your normal everyday plot line. You're not getting a climax. You're not getting like a down. Like, no, we're not doing that. John Steinbeck is literally just going to give you these characters. He's going to say, here are these characters. Here's their journey. And here's everything that happened to them and they experienced. And it's going to make you question like existential crisis. Like, it's going to make you question everything about humanity, and how you perceive the world. And I personally love that. First off, I'm a character person. Secondly, philosophically, like, not even philosophical, just like this writing is just so beautiful to me, and I loved it. The structure of this book is very interesting. So it goes from 1 or 2 chapters, I think mostly it's been like 1 chapter, of the perspective of one of the family members, and you're gonna jump around all the family members. You have the ma, the pa, grandma, grandpa, which I don't think you get their perspectives, 2 sons, a daughter. Oh, actually I think 3 sons and 2 daughters, but there's like some kids. And you kind of just like get their perspectives as they're like going through this journey in life. And then it switches to another chapter of something completely different. So sometimes it was a turtle. Other times it was a shopkeeper, a gas attendant, another farmer, and you would just flash back and forth. And like, I think there was a preacher as well. So you kind of get like everyone's perspective on the Great Depression and all of them relating to this family, which is really interesting. I think it kept the dynamic of the book kept you intrigued for the most part, I would say. I do want to mention, so like I said, banned, burned, everyone, this is really touchy when it first came out because the Great Depression was still fairly relevant to people's lives. I have to read this quote to you guys because when I read this quote, I think it just epitomizes why I love John Steinbeck so much, and I think it shows like he takes something like this, something so simple, and gives you a lot. It gives you a lot to think about and question. So let me set the scene for you real quick. Ma, the mother, is going to a general store to pick up some stuff for dinner that night. Her husband and her kids and everyone else has worked all day long for about 5 cents, I think is what it ended up being. And she's going to the general store. They literally have no money, right? They have no money, they have no food. And she's talking to the attendant at the cashier, and he's being kind of rude, to be honest. Like, he's just being really snarky, really like laughing in her face. I'm like, oh yeah, sugar's 25 cents. What are you gonna do about it? Like, I don't make the prices, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you can obviously tell that he's a little bit better off. He has a job, so he's obviously a little bit better off. She gets her thing, she pays for it, and on her way out, he eventually, I think she kind of like wears him down as well. Like, Ma sort of wears him down with like, cause she confronts him and she's like, does that make you feel good? Does it make you feel good to put me down? Does it make you feel good to know that my family is starving and I have 25 cents and I'm trying to make dinner for them after full days in the field? Like, so she's already at that point where she's like, did that make you feel good? And she says, Ma studied him. Her hand went blindly out and put the little bag of sugar on the pile in her arms. Thanks to you, she said quietly. She started for the door, and when she reached it, she turned around. I'm learning one thing good, she said. Learning it all the time, every day. If you're in trouble or hurt or need, go to poor people. They're the only ones that'll help. The only ones. The screen door slammed behind her. The little man leaned his elbows on the counter and looked after her with his surprised eyes. Like, I love it. I love it. And there's just like that one little snippet of it's just humanity. And John Steinbeck just such a great job about writing about humanity. Also, I just loved Ma. So I think it was fairly, I think quoting Ma for you guys just kind of showed you how I love the book so much. She was my superhero. She was. But like I said, I'm just giving you a quick summary, kind of telling you what I thought about it. Mostly, I guess, for my own reasons than yours. I highly would recommend reading this book, rereading it if you read it in high school. It's a shame that that kind of experience ruined it for so many people. God, it just makes you question and think. And I loved every single one of these characters and only wanted good things for them by the end of it. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars again. Once again. So far we have read The Winter of Our Discontent and The Grapes of Wrath. For March, I'm going to be reading The Moon is Down, which is a very short 100-page book about a town that is occupied by Nazi Germany and their retaliation against the soldiers there and that dynamic and how, you know, chaos ensues, right? So that being said, that is it for this month as far as John Steinbeck goes. I hope that I gave you another book to read. I very much enjoyed it. It is worth your time, 100%. It is one of those classics that is definitely worth your time. And I will be seeing you guys later. Bye.